find to be competent, well thought out, well researched. I admire them for many things. I disagree with them on some things. On some things, I don't admire them. But I don't disparage them. I think the thing that's lacking here is the ability to disagree without being disagreeable. And therefore, I'm opposed to this particular nomination. I will not vote to confirm it on that basis. And I think to say to Mr. Russell that his disagreement here is because of a personal vendetta, I see no evidence of that. I think the facts suggest otherwise. And I'm a little surprised that members of the council would say that. And in terms of evidence, this is not a court proceeding. The rules of evidence don't apply here. And I think that the information that Mr. Russell has brought forward is sufficient for these purposes. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd also like to throw in too just a portion of an article written by Mr. Briggs on September 25th, 2009. But now I find this nonpartisan movement, referring to the council, is really not true. Oh, they do not call themselves Republicans or Democrats, but the sentiment of the two parties is ever so much present. Here is how I see it breaks down. The Reds at present are John Russell, Jennifer McVeigh, Michael Delavar, and another probably soon to be joining them. The Blues are Molly Costin, Lou Peterson, Paul Greenlee, and Rod Morris. This is the last page, or second to last page. On this I said, this is an untrue statement about political parties in the council. While Delavar and I have self-identified ourselves as Republicans, the rest of the council has not identified their political affiliations. In my opinion, I find this kind of rhetoric hyper-political and continues Mr. Briggs' pattern of labeling people with no facts to back up the jargon. This isn't disagreeing with policy, but rather casting aspersions. And this is all things that are very visible and are all public. People can get them anywhere on the internet.
Any other thoughts, questions, comments from council?
Just a question, John. You're accusing Mike of being anti-development from 2 lines that he had in a blog 11 months ago that's describing carpetbaggers?
I didn't say he was anti-development. I'm just saying that those are disparaging remarks about developers, comparing them to carpetbaggers, and saying that they come in and take people's lives and savings and go on about their way.
Well, that is what carpetbaggers did, but I don't think that it...
No. I put the definition of what a carpetbagger is at the bottom of that. It has nothing to do with what a carpetbagger is.
We're having difficulty hearing.
I had the opportunity to talk with Joanne Boyes this afternoon about the process. And initially, I was thinking that the process was something that should be challenged. After talking with her, I'm satisfied that it's a good process. I have to compliment the mayor for letting the staff do their job in this regard. I didn't much care for the outcome, but I thought the process was good.
Appreciate that, thank you. Other questions, comments?
I just wanted to talk a little bit about what the Planning Commission is and is not. I certainly meant no disrespect by describing them as a debating society. They're a debating society only in the sense that the Planning Commission makes no final decisions, only recommendations. And as such, team building is not required. But what is needed is committed, intelligent, and well-informed by diverse experience and strongly held points of view. A certain amount of decorum is necessary, but the Planning Commission is not a team. I also observe that I've been on several of these interview committees, as well as on council, and I'm not aware that we have ever elaborately checked anyone's qualifications. Just for example, no one checked into Councilmember Shoemaker's military record. I'm concerned about the legal issues of changing the standards in the midst of the process.
Dave?
I'd be happy to make my military record available.
I don't think anybody questions it.
That wasn't the point.
Yeah, and I guess one of my questions is, how can the committee, and I guess, Paul, since you were there, probably the best person to ask, how could the committee make a recommendation when you had two applicants, and one of them had a fully informed resume with dates, times, everything of when they worked and where they worked and how, and another one just had a list of attributes and things that he says he did. So, I mean, I guess when I'm looking at the two, I understand that one, claims to be more applicable, but I'm looking at the two and I'm like, to me, one is verifiable, one is not.
I don't have the papers in front of me, but that certainly is not consistent with my recollection. And the other thing is that, frankly, the process relies most heavily on a series of questions and how people responded to those. The letter of interest, technically, all that the letter of interest has to say is, I'm interested. It doesn't require a resume or any other set of qualifications. So historically, we've relied on the interview and to some degree, frankly, discounted the submitted written materials.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a very basic question to ask. What exactly are the standards that we're voting on when we were with regards to confirming or not confirming a candidate for this position?
I don't know that I even know.
You have to be a citizen for the city.
Well,
No.
specifically as far as having discretion to vote yes or no for this position, one potential discussion point is does there have to be a specific reason for voting no? Or is there an unacceptable reason for voting no? And if we start going down that road and ask the question about whether or not there is, and if there aren't any objective standards where it's very reasonable, these are all the reasons why you must vote for the person, and a vote against or not voting that direction is sort of a dereliction of duty. I mean, if we start going down that road, I think from what I've seen so far from the discussions and emails that we got on this one, my understanding is that we're not really in that position